Hey guys, yeah, here we are. So finally, as I did mention, today we'll be doing our first live in regards to Industry 4.0, and I'll take you through it. All right, so as I was saying, your health is your wealth. So I hope you do take care of your body, and you make sure that you exercise more often. So I was busy with my tennis session, only now done now, and let me take you through the pillar of Industry 4.0. So why are we still talking about Industry 4.0? We're talking about Industry 4.0 simply because this is where the world is, and this is what's happening in the world, and we need to be talking about Industry 4.0 because that's very, very important. So as I was saying, I'll take you through Industry 4.0 and I'll talk about the pillars of Industry 4.0. So don't worry too much about the numbering. It's simply the pillars of Industry 4.0. Don't also mind my breath. I was just playing tennis now and now I'm catching up. So the first pillar of Industry 4.0, but it doesn't mean it's pillar number 1, so it's just my numbering. It's virtual reality. The whole world is talking about virtual reality, and this is where the world is. You know, virtual reality is helping a lot, especially in regards to, let's say, remote assistance. You know, someone can be sitting in another country, and from his monitor, he can be able to see what the other technician on site, on the mining site, or any site is busy doing, and they can actually virtually assist him. And this is amazing. Virtual reality is also about demo expo. You know, instead of going to some demo for a car to see a car and things like that, you can actually virtually see it and go more in details. You can also do those building complex environment. In very complex environment, you can do building and other things in regards to Industry 4.0. So that's the first one, virtual reality. The second one is cloud computing. Remember, everything that we're doing virtually, the world is digital today. We need a place where we're going to store those information. And the accessibility should be at any time that you need it. In any part of the world you should be able to access those information and do what you need to do with those information. The third one is data. As I always say, data's gold. Everybody's talking about data today, and data is amazing what you can do with data. Today, big multinationals, leader in the industry, they're doing amazing stuff with data. What they're doing, they can be doing solutions based on predictive maintenance because of data. People are also doing machine learning because of data. You know, machine learning, it's basically, let's just say a machine has a brain now. A machine can process things. A machine can learn from its activity and adjust itself based on the activities. Data is amazing, and that's what people can do with data. And another thing I also wanted to talk about as we're going through those 9 pillars of Industry 4.0, I also wanted to talk about IoT. IoT is basically the Internet of Things. Everything is connected today in the world. You are connected to your fridge via your phone. You can do anything you want with your fridge. You are connected to your house with your phone. You can actually process things. You can look at your CCTV via your phone. You can also put sensor in your house, sensor that will be able to detect the time that you wake up and will switch on your coffee machine directly. This is also IoT, and IoT can also be involved in supply chain. IoT can do a lot of vendor managed inventory and directly process order from manufacturer. So this is also IoT. It's part of the pillar of Industry 4.0. And another pillar of Industry 4.0, it's also, let's just call it advanced simulation. You will be amazed with what people, especially in the automotive industry, they're doing with advanced simulation. Advanced simulation is basically what you used to watch, that when they manufacture a car, they need to test it, and to test it to do some accident with it, to see how the airbags will react and all those things. This is something you can now do virtually. You can do it via advanced simulation. And this is also another amazing thing. in regards to the pillar of Industry 4.0. And another thing also about Industry 4.0, another pillar of Industry 4.0, it's autonomous and robotic. You will hear people talking about automation, high level of automation and things like that. And this is what's happening. I was giving an example in one of my videos where I was talking about smart mining. I was talking about autonomous haul truck. You know, Caterpillar has released, I think 2-3 years ago, they released the CAT 793F, which is an autonomous truck, autonomous haul truck. The truck doesn't need a driver. Anything is, it's happening in that truck. It's IoT and nobody's touching that truck. No driver is needed. The truck is calculating speed and everything. Truck is going to the shovel by itself, collect the ore body and go and unload it where it needs to unload it. Everything is done via IoT and sensors to avoid collisions and other things. And also someone just sitting in a control room being able basically to supervise, not to do much, but just to supervise the trucks. So that's also another pillar of Industry 4.0. And if I may continue as well, there are also other pillars. You know, we'll talk about, let's say, for instance, cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is actually key in Industry 4.0 because you need to protect data. You need to protect the digital world because it needs to be resilient. It needs to be secure so that nothing can happen to it. Because remember, today with digital, we are holding lives. We are keeping life. And anything that can happen to the digital world, it can actually affect life and productivity as well. So cybersecurity is also one of it. And it's very important to know that. And also another thing that I truly believe is very important is also part of the pillars of Industry 4.0. It's what today we are calling, let's just say, universal integration. Remember, I've spoken about so many pillars, and those pillars need to be able to speak to each other, right? Those silos need to be able to speak to each other. So in order for those silos to speak to each other, there should be some universal integration. System need to speak to each other, need to interface with each other so that actually it can make it easier for people and also for productivity process. And this is where the world is going, you know. This is where the world is going, you know. And another pillar that I also wanted to mention on Industry 4.0, which I also believe that is very important, it's additive manufacturing. Additive manufacturing, what is that? You'll hear the world is talking about 3D printing. 3D printing is big. This is amazing. You know, today, machine can actually manufacture almost anything that you want via 3D printing. And I'll shock you with one of the news that I was actually going through in one of the engineering company. They can actually use machine to manufacture houses, you know, to do the concrete and everything. Machines are doing it without any human interventions and actually finalize and build an entire house. Can you imagine that? And this is grace, I'll say thanks to 3D printing. Another pillar also part of Industry 4.0, if I may mention as well, this is also very important. It's advanced simulation. Advanced simulation, I've spoken about it, and this is also one of the key in Industry 4.0. So we've spoken about virtual reality. We've spoken about autonomous and robotic. We've spoken about cloud computing. We've spoken about data. We've spoken about cybersecurity. We've spoken about universal integration. And I also spoke about advanced simulations, and I spoke about data and so many things. These are pillars of Industry 4.0. And I truly believe that from where our world is going, a business person or an entrepreneur in this continent need to understand, you know, what are those pillars of Industry 4.0 and what's happening in the Industry 4.0 world, because it will affect all of us. And the better we understand it, the better we can actually implement it and make it work for this continent. Remember, we are the one that understand the challenges in this continent. By understanding the challenges, it simply means that you and I can address those challenges better, you know, by understanding it. So these were the pillar of Industry 4.0. If you did like it, don't forget to share with your friends, and we'll continue with other focus on topic that we'll be discussing, but today I just wanted to touch base and give you some idea in regards to pillars of Industry 4.0. If I may repeat it again, so I spoke about virtual reality, I've spoken about advanced simulation, I've spoken about IoT, data. I've spoken about cyber security as well, and I've spoken about universal integration, and we also touched on additive manufacturing and all those things. So it's very important for today's entrepreneurs to understand Industry 4.0 and understand those pillars, and if maybe I didn't go more in detail with cybersecurity, cybersecurity explains itself. It's basically about securing the cyber world, securing the digital world and everything. So that's it for today, and I hope you did like it. If you did like it, don't forget to share with your friends, and as I did mention, keep on watching Smart Africa 4.0. There will be many topics. We'll be inviting leader in the industry to come and talk to us about what they're doing, amazing stuff they're doing in regards to Industry 4.0 in the countries or in the companies. And because remember, as I was speaking during our lockdown in the beginning, I said that the lockdown, or let's just say COVID-19, will actually accelerate the needs for Industry 4.0. Simply because, look, the world has seen, and leader in the industry has seen how vulnerable we could be, and also our interaction between human beings has become a challenge. So at some point, one need to start becoming more smarter and coming up with solutions that could address those things, and I truly believe that entrepreneurs in this continent need to be also smart and need to foresee things and need to come up with, solutions, and need to pioneer solutions in this continent, because this continent needs entrepreneurs. This continent need people to come up with new ways of doing things, need people to come up with new idea, need people to create jobs. That's what our continent need. So that's it for today. As I was saying, I was playing tennis, but I felt that, I need to touch base with you and talk to you about pillars in the Industry 4.0 and how important is it in our world. All right, so I hope you are keeping safe where you are. Don't forget to wear your mask and sanitize your hands or wash them regularly, and I believe we'll all be safe. And until we meet again next week, I wish you a great weekend, and cheers. Bye.